And we can sustain and maintain it by proxy, fighting for them. What you're doing at the moment is one effort. Even, social media, fundraisers, demonstrations, everything appearing on mainstream media. I mean, of course, for speaking of mainstream media, I mean, we've even had Haaretz report the story of Ibrahim Abu Thuraya, but did the BBC report it yet? Not to my knowledge. And so what's happening with the BBC at the moment, the cowardice on political reporting is astounding. I don't know if you saw it last night on BBC Two, Danny Boyle visiting, the filmmaker Danny Boyle visiting Bethlehem, and with Banksy organizing a nativity plan called Alternativity. I don't know if I said that right. And Danny Boyle and Banksy, and with that Alternativity play, tackled serious political points that political reporting for the BBC shies away from. So the point is that even art subversively can fight for justice, not just for Palestine, but for justice. So it's the political reporting, it's the news department. I do every now and then freelance work for BBC Radio 4 on music. And even then, yes, I have to be very careful. Now, you can use that to make your artistic message more rich by being more subtle. But that's different. When we're talking about news reporting, you have to call a spade a spade. Your job as a reporter is to... I mean, can you imagine if it was an Israeli double amputee who's had the chandelier fall in his flat because of a rocket from Hamas? It would be all over the world. And I'm appealing to you, Ed, to your viewers and listeners. We need to write to everybody that deals with the human rights of the disabled. And I'm tagging them on Twitter. UN Enable, all the organizations and the NGOs, because if even a disabled Palestinian had no rights, and if this were an Israeli person, disabled or not, I mean, I remember during 2014, when Gazans were being slaughtered and massacred, there was one BBC reporting on a house in a settlement not far from Gaza where the chandelier has fallen. Oh, bless. Oh, so an Israeli settler's chandelier is more precious than the legs of a Palestinian peace activist. That's the BBC news reporting for you. I have the right to take on the BBC. We pay our license fees. We have a say. I don't have a say with Sky TV or CNN. I don't care. But the BBC is public sector, Ed, and we pay for it. We have a right. And I'm exercising it now, and we should all exercise it. Even in my case, when they play my music, even music programs, 9 times out of 10, they feel obliged to play an Israeli song as well. But the reverse is not true. If they're playing an Israeli musician, they don't need to play the Aboriginal pygmy there. But once you have a Palestinian, the Palestinian needs to be neutralized. We have the right to ask the BBC to feature each case the way it is. I mean, this is a double amputee holding the Palestinian flag on his land. How come this was not headline news, let alone news? That's what we're asking the BBC. Get your priorities right. I mean, Israel is blocking Gaza. Israel does not allow journalists to get into Gaza. This alone is a bit of news. This should be a news item. My God, if this was Zimbabwe, woo, they would be, plastering it in our faces every day. Consistency. They are not consistent. And I call it from now on the settlers' chandeliers versus the activists' legs. Simple as that. That's what we demand of the BBC. We are license fee payers, and we can motivate. We need to shower them with letters. We have to, all of us. This is also a form of intifada. You and I cannot be in Jerusalem right now, but we can do other things. And this tackling the BBC is one. If to say also the other mainstream media, for us as British taxpayers, that's going to be a humongous task. But if we tackle a public sector news organization for whom we pay our license fee, I think we are within our rights to do so, and we can do so. social media is not enough. Can you imagine, as great as it is in spreading the net, in a way, the negative thing has been us ignoring to deal with the BBC and its coverage. By focusing on Twitter and on Facebook, we're not tackling the BBC full on, and we should. Yes. They owe it to us. We pay their salaries. Simple. Fair coverage. Not even pro-Palestinian, pro-justice.